All right, well, I think we're fully operational, so we'll do a little introduction here. So my name is Ryan Mountain, and I'm the Senior Vice President here at Work Opportunities Unlimited. I've been with Work Opportunities since 1994 and have had the great privilege of providing services in 8 different states, both adult services and student services, and have worked quite extensively with school districts since the late 90s to customize transition services to meet the needs, whether it's to their district or for particular students. So it's a pleasure to be here speaking with you today about one of my favorite topics, which is transition services. I am joined today joining me today is Heather Mailing-Menard. She's our Director of Business Development. She's been with us 16 years, and she manages a team of business developers who works in all of our different states to interface with employers to find whether it's work-based learning experiences or paid placements for all of our job seekers, adults and students. And we also have Rebecca Mayer. She is our director in Boston. She's been with us 4 years, and she's supervising services for both adults and students in and around the Boston area. Welcome, Heather and Rebecca.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Okay, now I know from some of the registrants that some of you know Work Opportunities, so you have some background, and some of you I don't recognize the name, so I'm going to assume that you might not have much information at all. So I'll give you a quick overview of Work Opportunities. So we have been in business since 1982, and our company was founded by a gentleman who had worked for vocational rehabilitation in New Hampshire, and his vision was to start a company that was going to help people with even the most significant disabilities and challenges to find community-based employment. So we've never had facilities. It's been 100% community-based since that time. We started in New Hampshire and Maine, and now we have expanded beyond New Hampshire and Maine into, as you can see, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, and Florida. All of our services are customized, especially for school districts. As you might imagine, with a lot of adult services and adult service agencies, there's already a service structure in place. But with school districts, we kind of have the liberty where we're able to kind of create services and work with key decision makers at the school district to identify where are the gaps in services, to see where we might be of help. So, you know, we might work in any given year with anywhere from 40 to 50 different school districts directly. And each of the programs, each of the services could be very different. You know, so there's some duplication, there are some needs that are consistent, you know, throughout different districts, but really it's a customized approach that we take. And I'll reiterate again at the end that, you know, as far as next steps and what we would want to do is if you're feeling like you have some service needs that you want to discuss, whether it's for your district or for particular students, we would want to have those discussions with you to kind of talk it through to see what would make sense. In addition to school districts, as you can see, we work with a number of different adult agencies as well. We work with vocational rehabilitation, developmental service agencies, and I know we have a number of people signed in from Maryland and from Massachusetts. So Voc Rehab, get into the alphabet soup of acronyms here. Voc Rehab in Massachusetts would be MRC, and in Maryland it is DOORS. Developmental services, such agencies like DDS, DDA. We also work with the Department of Children and Families, Department of Transitional Assistance, and we are also a ticket to work provider with the Social Security Administration. We work with over 40,000 employers across all of the states, and we're constantly building on that. In fact, that's one of the main functions of Heather's team, is to always be adding employer relationships to our database, which we're going to give you a sneak peek on that in just a few minutes. So that's the overview, and you can see over on the right-hand side of the graphic, kind of gives you an idea of volume as far as placements go. That's what we did last year. We secured 1,092 paid jobs, and we secured 567 work-based learning experiences. So the bulk of those are for students. So a lot of, you know, like temporary work experiences or internships, and some might be paid, some might be unpaid. Like I said, it's very much a customized approach from district to district. So, but that gives you a good idea over 500 of the work-based learning experiences. All right, so our mission, core values, and commitment. This will just give you a little bit on the personality of work opportunities. And you can see from the mission statement, I think you noticed from the previous slide, that our focus is on employment and things related to employment. And it could be exploration as well. So it's not just placement, especially with students. We do a lot of career exploration, whether it's, I mentioned the work-based learning experiences, but also, taking tours and interviewing employers and just gathering information that's going to help them identify, what are their post-secondary goals? What are they looking for employment, going into, looking into transition. And of course, they might not know at that point. I know many of us on this call, including myself, didn't know what we want to do for work for quite some time after transitioning out of school. You can also see our core values. We believe all people can work, which is significant because we really believe that despite the situation, despite the challenge, all people can work. It doesn't always happen right away. In some cases, we have to, if we tick down to number 6, we are never satisfied. We have to keep at it, and it could take some time, but we want to be resilient and keep pursuing employment. It's also our responsibility to change the world of work. The best way we can do that is by helping students and adults experience work and really show what they can do on the job site. And that really changes the perception of work cultures, employers, and coworkers. We believe in individual initiative and dignity. And one of the ways that we exemplify this is through the person-centered planning process. We do this quite a bit with students, and it is a staple of our adult services as well, where we work with them to really do a person-centered plan that will pull together their stakeholders, and then it helps teach self-advocacy as well because it allows them to kind of present their plan back to their team. It's a great way to develop post-secondary goals for them to kind of facilitate their own meeting. We are pioneering and creative organization, which of course, since March, we've all been pioneering and creative. And you'll see Rebecca's going to talk a bit about how we've kind of adapted some of our services, really all of our services, to a remote model to allow for both remote and for in-person services. And we build successful reciprocal relationships. And the best way we can do that really is by ensuring that employers are getting great employees, getting great student internships, just as much as the students and all of our job seekers are getting opportunities. We have a commitment to honesty and treating others with fairness and respect. We exude open communication and transparency, and we definitely are committed to our mission. So that just gives you a little information on the personality of work opportunities. And now we're going to get into the benefits of utilizing work opportunities. I'll hand it over to Heather.
Great. So yeah, there's several benefits of using work opportunities. The team of professionals here at Work Opportunities, we're all committed to ensuring that every person benefits from using our services. We really are focused on person-centered services, so it's really all about the person. We can customize employment opportunities and develop those opportunities for the consumers that we're working with. We always are taking a business-to-business approach, and what that really means to us is really building that relationship, that core relationship with the business, really talking to that business, finding out what their needs are, and really trying to connect them with some of the individuals that we are working with. We use our advanced portal system that includes our job board and our map feature, and we'll be showing you that in a few minutes. We'll be demonstrating that for you. We're utilization of central and local business development teams, and what that really means is by using the team that I supervise, the business development team, remote business development team. Each of the market is using us really to kind of focus on that business development and really gaining that relationship with the company that we're approaching. So it's really building that relationship, trying to find out opportunities within that business, and really connecting individuals who would be a good match for that employment opportunity. We are offering also job site supports and our retention planning. And our retention planning is really focused on the employer's expectations, really what those are, and then finding out if there's any barriers that our individuals have to those employer expectations, and then collaboratively working with the business as well as the other team members to talk about, how do we overcome those barriers? What interventions are we going to deploy? We're able to do both job site supports and retention planning in person and remote. So we're offering those in-person and remote services to individuals, and we also are offering all those services through group services. So that's really exciting. And I know Ryan's going to jump over to the portal and demonstrate the portal job board.
Right. I just want to clarify even further the utilization of the central and local business development teams, because this is fairly different, at least from my travels. What it really is we have people that are our team members who are assigned to whether students or adults for services. And so they're providing, depending on the individual and the situation, of course, we're adapting from day to day. I know we all are. It could be a combination of remote or in-person services, predominantly remote right now. And we've been able to really adapt our whole service flow so that all the services are very conducive to remote delivery. So they work with a person on a regular basis, but in addition to that person, there's Heather's team, which is that centralized business development team. So really there's two people. So you have the primary who's working with the student, and let's say they're looking for a work-based learning experience. So what happens is they interface with a business developer from Heather's team to talk about what it is they're looking for, and they help support our local team. So really you're getting, the individual gets two people rather than typically in a typical model it's one. So we find that to be hugely beneficial. And one of the other ways that really helps us is that we know that traditionally turnover in this industry has been a challenge. And if you have any sort of turnover with a direct support professional, a lot of cases you've got an interruption. Now, by having two people involved, that really minimizes the impact of that. It allows us to continue with development, even if there is any turnover. So definitely wanted to clarify that. And so now I'm going to show you our portal. So let's click on the map here, and I'll give you a description. So what we do, and Heather's team does this quite a bit, and of course all of our primary team members working with individuals do the same thing. Any sort of contact with employers is entered in our portal. So this is our online portal, and there's a lot to it, but I'm going to show you one aspect of it. So we go here to the job board. So every single contact is entered in. And we also are looking to clarify and confirm job orders. So what Heather's team and the rest of our team does is they meet with employers to identify what their needs are. And this is where we can have more kind of develop that relationship so we can identify how they want to participate, in particular with students, whether it's, they're going to allow students to come in for a tour, or whether they're going to talk via Zoom to students. What are they willing to do in addition to offering, work-based learning experiences as well as potential paid jobs. So what you're seeing here are the paid jobs. So these are job orders. So what these are, these have come directly from employers confirming they have these openings. All right. They are not ads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a change here. And put in the zip code. So we can do a search by zip. All right, so these are all the ones that are in that Boston area, the Boston zip code. And I can do a radius search, but I'm not going to bore you with all the details. So you can see there's a number of pages here. And so what this gives the job seeker and the student and work opportunities team members is all this information pertaining to open jobs. And it gives the job category, the job title, the pay, the contact name, the company, location, all of it. And so they can use this, and we're constantly building on it. They can use this as part of their, whether it's looking for a learning experience or a job, can help them do this. Can help them do that. So this is not Indeed. This is like an internal work opportunities Indeed, I guess, if you will. Now I'm going to show you a different view. This one's a little more aesthetically pleasing, I think, anyway. And let's see, I'll click on Boston, show you essentially the same info. Actually, I'm going to change it up here. So what this does is use Google Maps. And so what this is doing is plotting. There's a lot of icons here. I'm not going to show you all those, but the ones I want to show you are these here. So these are the job orders. So any opening, you can see it here. So this is really good if you're looking, you want to see geographically where these openings are related to where the job seeker is. And so they can click on this and then they can click on the job and that will take them to the details. So really it's a good starting point when you're looking for, again, whether it's the work-based learning experiences or a job placement, because we have this database to start from. And then if nothing matches what the individual is looking for, then we do a customized search. Okay, so it's not like these are the only options. This is a starting point, and if there's matches, great, and if there aren't, and we do a direct job search for their particular needs. That's how that works. All right, Rebecca, we'll talk about service options.
Great, thank you, Ryan. Well, I am very happy to tell you all that we have successfully transitioned from providing all in-person services to providing services remotely and virtually. As mentioned beforehand by both Ryan and Heather, we are still providing in-person services across the company, but as everybody here knows, the world has changed this year, and the need to utilize technology has been extremely important while using creative ways to maintain a personal connection with our job seekers. So we are excited to be offering many different remote service options that tie into our traditional service outcomes, such as person-centered planning, interview training, resume development, job placement, work assessments, and job retention services. Our additional service options now include, as you can see at the bottom, skills development courses, job clubs, educational assistance, and job exploration counseling. So now I'm going to walk you through each of these new options. For our skills development courses, students can participate in approximately 20 to 25 hours of soft skills training. We have 15 PowerPoints that have been created by Work Opportunities Unlimited, and they are ready for facilitation at any time. And in these soft skills training courses, we have topics such as networking, job applications, resume development, and workplace harassment and bullying, just to name a few. Now, these sessions can be facilitated with students either one-to-one, or they can be done in small or larger group sessions via Zoom. And now each session involves watching videos, doing different activities, and exercises to implement the skills that are being learned throughout each session.
Another thing I'll say, Rebecca, if I could.
Sure.
You know, I mentioned it's very much services are customized, and yes, we have this for 20 hours, but it can be adapted to kind of fit what you might be looking for. I know we have a kind of skills development part 2, which is another 20 hours, so really we've got about 40 hours of curriculum, but it can be, you know, if you had like a gap in service, we were thinking, well, we really love to have 10 hours this type of facilitation for, you know, with cohorts of students, we can do that. So the 20 is just kind of gives you an idea, but it's very much customized.
Definitely, and just to add to what Ryan was saying too, you know, we have our, I guess, our course curriculum outline, so you could always pick and choose what sessions you want to be facilitated with students, depending on if there's something else that's already being offered. So we've already done that with some districts across the company. Now, taking a look at our job clubs, so we are offering job clubs that students can join with their career resource, specialist. Our job clubs are being offered all throughout Work Opportunities Unlimited, so students can join in whenever those sessions are being held, and they can participate and learn about different topics that are related to gaining employment, retaining employment, or just pre-employment skills. And the fun thing about this is that students can meet with people from other locations and states that are also Work Opportunities Unlimited participants. Now, when we're talking about educational assistance, we can work with students on post-secondary educational research. We can do this by looking at colleges, trade schools, different trainings or certificate programs. And we can also assist students with preparing for certification exams by studying, reviewing content, taking practice tests and quizzes together. So some examples of educational assistance that we've already been providing to some students include attaining a ServSafe certificate. So that could be used for individuals who maybe want to work in food services or the hospitality industry. We've helped people with getting certified in first aid or CPR, especially for those, who want to work in human services or work with children. We've also helped people with applying for scholarships if they are looking to go on to, college or community college. And we've also helped people study for their driver's permit tests. So lots of options there. Now, with our the last option, our job exploration counseling, I'm very excited to show you guys all this. So we have gained access to an online platform, which is called Virtual Job Shadow. Ryan's opening it up as I'm explaining this. So on Virtual Job Shadow, students are able to complete career assessments to identify career interests. They're able to access a internal, external job search engine. They're able to watch real job shadow videos about different positions, and then they can also complete a quiz at the end, as well as journal entries to document their interest in certain jobs. Now, the thing that's really great about Virtual Job Shadow, there are so many wonderful things about it, but there are over 400 careers that are on the site that students can investigate and see what they would most be interested in for their future. And I guess one last feature to add is that several of these videos and the assessments on the site are offered in Spanish. So now, if you are interested in looking further into these remote service options, you could always check out our remote services section on our website. And if you see here on the site, you will find that each item has descriptions listed underneath it. And then there are also videos on the right-hand side. These are actually samples of the different options we have here.
Okay.
Sorry, Heather. Thanks, Rebecca.
That's okay, no problem. So we wanted to talk a little bit about training for teachers. So this is actually our online self-paced opportunity for teachers to complete their training hours. And it's done through a search engine. We use Talent LMS, so it's a website that we use. We offer 4 courses below, which can be accessed by the teachers and at their convenience. So it's totally self-paced and completely online. They're functional transition assessments, developing employer partnerships, facilitating independence at work, Social Security Administration benefits, and work incentives. All of these online courses, when they're completed, we do have certificates that are available via our Talent LMS, so we can print out certificates for those. The courses include all articles, narratives. These are all based on best practices in the field. In addition, each of the courses include recorded webinars, and they have a focus on specific case studies. So they can really bring it back to kind of real world case studies, which is great. On a monthly basis, the learner has access to a live webinar. It's sort of like a webinar drop-in, and that is hosted by a content expert who will review key concepts, and you can really ask any questions that you may have on that specific topic. So those drop-in live webinars are fantastic. Any qualifying professional development points would be issued by the school district based on the course completion reports received from work opportunities. So the administrators are able to be set up as in an administrative role within our work opportunities and limited learning site, just to be able to monitor the teacher's progress as well as communicate directly via email with the learners. So it's a great opportunity to kind of get your training hours in, really to learn some great topics and really use the specific recorded webinars, and the drop-in webinars are super helpful. As you can see, Ryan has popped over to our Talent LMS site, and he's pulled up the functional transition assessments, and really it's broken down into all of these pieces. So learning goal and objectives, we have course pre-tests, post-tests, and all of the things in between. So we're really specifically focusing on that narrative-based learning. So it's a great opportunity to get the hours that you need and really learn some really critical skills that have to do with job development. So it's a fantastic opportunity to really kind of utilize this platform that's set up for you.
Right, and these courses are on average about 6 hours. So if you're wondering what the length is, between everything, like Heather said, they're all set up the same. So they start off with the goals, and then they each have a pre and a post test. And there are narratives that are written, you can see for these particular topics, person-centered planning. And then there's examples. In some cases, it utilizes, YouTube videos on a particular topic, or certain websites are recommended. And we'll use, articles from industry experts are put in here as well. And then there's a quiz in the middle. And then there's a post test at the end. And as Heather mentioned, there's a drop-in webinar, live drop-in webinars that we do every month. Those aren't required to complete the courses; they're just extra. So really, it's just going over what we do is go over the key points of a particular topic. So if we're doing functional transition assessments, we just go over the key points and then open it up to questions, and conversation. So thank you very much, Heather, for that. All right, so now connecting with us. These are some various ways in which you can connect with us. Of course, our website being at the top. And as I said, Heather's going to send out this handout. So you're going to have all these links tomorrow that you can check out. And this is our contact information. This is my contact info, Heather's, as well as Rebecca's. And then, of course, you can contact us locally. So you can either, and Heather will give you some instructions when she emails you out tomorrow, but essentially what we'd like to do is, because these services are so customized, I think there's so many people on this call right now that are thinking, okay, this person's thinking, all right, we have this need of this population. We need some remote work-based learning experience here. Someone else could be thinking, I really need job placement for when a student is in the final year. All of those different things. And you might have questions about, whether we're the right fit for certain situations. So really, the next step is to respond to Heather's email tomorrow. She'll email you the handout, and then you can respond to her. If you'd like to set up a call to talk it through, we'd be happy to do that. It's a great creative process. And so that's really the next step. And you can contact any of the three of us with any questions in the meantime, at any time. But you can also check out our local contacts, who some of you probably already know who they are. But again, at our website, you'll see, you can go to the locations by state, and you can kind of drill down and see all the different locations. And for example, you'll see Boston. Here we go. There's Rebecca. That is an example of that. And with that, we're going to open it up to questions. And so you can either chat your question or raise your virtual hand, and I will take you off mute. I'm looking for hands being raised. And if you have questions later, of course, but that always happens. That happens to me all the time. I'll come up with a question as soon as I hang up the phone. You can email us directly. We'll definitely get back to you quickly on that. So I'm just scrolling through to see if we have any. Let's see. I think we do have one here. All right, Kelly McLaughlin, I'm coming your way. I saw your hand raised. And you are self-muted, Kelly, so you'll have to unmute yourself. So I can unmute you. Okay, looks like you're still self-muted. So I'm gonna scroll down a little bit again. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. All right, so it looks like we're clear of questions. Okay, well, I hope this information was helpful. And like I said, if you took down the information, great, but you'll get the handout tomorrow, so you can reach out if you've got questions, want to set up a call, discuss your own situation, services, and kind of brainstorm, then definitely contact us. Paul, it looks like you have a question, and you are self-muted as well. So I cannot unmute you. Must be in your go-to panel. You need to kind of click on the little microphone icon to unmute yourself. Oh, there we go. Paul, you are live. We can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So my question was, I participated in a presentation like this probably 6 months ago, but it sounded like it was only available through doors. Is that still the case, or is this something that you can, school system can purchase or get outside of the doors system?
Definitely can be purchased directly. We work through doors. Obviously, you're in Maryland, so you work through doors, and those we don't, that's voc rehab in state of Maryland. So we are a pre-ex provider in essentially all the different states, but in some cases, you might be looking for services that fall kind of outside the pre-ex. So if you are connected with doors and you have students that go through them for pre-ex, we provide a lot of pre-ex in the state of Maryland. So that's definitely an option. But there might be something like, say, more of an intensive job placement. Like, say you want a job placement, because the pre-ex really isn't a job placement. That's about exploration, which I'm sure you know. So there might be situations where that program's not going to work. And so then we can work with the school district directly.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for joining us. I'm looking to see if we had any other hands raised. We don't. And I should also say that, I think I obviously conveyed that, I think, over the course of this, but, we work definitely with school districts directly, but also, in the adult service arena, obviously with DOORS and MRC and DDS. And so that kind of gives us a great perspective, because we've been, very much involved in transition, post-secondary goals and IEPs, but also with the adult services. So helping students and families kind of make that transition. In some cases, if they're working with, one of our team members while they're still in school, and say we get them a job, say in their last year, we place them, and then they have a job going into adult services, essentially they could have the same person working with them providing job coaching services. So that's a huge benefit. And another benefit that we've seen with the remote services, which there are unbelievable, right? There are benefits to what's the situation that we're in, but there are a lot of individuals that are living in remote areas that might not have had providers that were local. And so they really weren't getting the services that other students or adults were getting. So what we're seeing that a lot of individuals are getting those services. They're getting the remote job preparation services, like the virtual job shadow. We're doing a lot of the same things with individuals who may otherwise they would not have had access before March. So that's one of the definite benefits that we're seeing for those individuals. So if you're living in an area that you feel like, well, there's not a work opportunities local to me, it really doesn't matter. I mean, depending on the service and what the student needs, we can provide the service from almost anywhere. All right, well, with that, I will leave you. And thank you very much for joining us, and look for the email from Heather tomorrow about next steps and with a handout. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your week.